Hey, everybody. Now, The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. It was very entertaining last night. It was part one, so we got two more episodes to go. A lot was talked about in that one episode. So let's just breeze through everything that went down. So, of course, Renna was the first one to come out so thirsty to show that she had envelope that she put behind her seat. The some receipt is probably some blown up text messages from Kathy. It's something that she's gonna expose about Kathy, I'm pretty sure. And she was the first one out. Now, the first scene they talked about Dorit's charity, the homeless not toothless, and Jamie Lee Curtis comes out. She comes out to thank Dorit for her enthusiasm, the way that she was hyping up Jamie Lee's charity. She came out to let Dorit know that she renamed it and added Dorit's name in it. I don't have the whole name, but the wind chime. I think she named the wind chime after Dorit. And she came also to promote the Halloween movie that her and Kyle are both in. And she had some pumpkins with the women's faces carved in them. So she came out and spoke. So once she leaves, Andy gets into what's happened with Jax. So he asks Garcelle about it. Garcelle said how cruel it was. And she also said, which I had no idea, when that happened, that her Playboy photos were sent to her son. So her saying that really made me believe now, okay, you know what? This was definitely someone targeting her. And I'm really led to believe now that it was that Diana had something to do with it. Still, who thought to send her son his mother's Playboy pictures that she took when she was younger? What, you see what I'm saying? Like, if this was a whole paying for bots, who got a hold of those photos and sent them to her son? So this is definitely more than just it being paid bots sent to attack her son's comment section, right? I really that's crazy that they did that to her son. So she talked about the comment, the knee on his neck comment, and she was saying that he took that comment the hardest, and he reposted it. That specific comment about the knee to the neck, he reposted that saying to like leave him alone. And Andy had to intervene with that. Instead of it just being all about Garcelle's son and what he experienced. I understand people get comments, hateful comments. And the fact that he had to include that in his speech about Jax just to make the women feel good and make sure that this is not just about Garcelle and her son. We're including you too, even though none of those women got attacked that way. Even their kids. Yes, I know their kids get messages sometimes too. But what happened with Jax was paid. Someone paid to have him cyberbullied online. And that's different from what happens to those grown adult women that have been doing this for years, and they dish it just as much as they take it. So for them to compare these grown women to a 14-year-old kid is ridiculous. So of course Andy had to save face and mention that as well, to take away from the fact that Jax was attacked, right? So he brings up how the hate that the women get is so heavy and how it sucks. And that's when he mentioned that the bots, like someone must have been behind it. Like he's asking Garcelle if she thinks this. And she's like, yeah, she thinks that someone was behind it because it was a pattern of attacking her children, right? So she said she thought it was a way to get her off the show. She's thinking this is, because they don't like me, they're gonna, they're doing this to me to get me upset to leave the show. And she said she has an investigation going. So now we get to Andy talking about Dorit's robbery. Okay. So he talks about Dorit's robbery, and Dorit makes it clear that an investigation is still going on. The robbers have not been caught. I just find that odd. It's been how long now since that robbery happened? A year or over a year? Nothing, no leads in this case. And the robber left the cell phone. Like, I mean, no leads in this case. I still find it weird. Dorit, she was talking about how she suffers from she was diagnosed with PTSD and, yada, yada. Andy mentions that people were saying that the robbery was fake and that PK orchestrated it, as an insurance scam. So, of course, she denies that. Oh, no, that's not true. Why would we do something like that? But this part right here is where I just busted out laughing when Andy started yawning when Dorit was talking. I mean, that right there, yes, you're long winded, Dorit, but overall, you are boring. Okay. And she got so mad when he was yawning. And this is not the first time that he's done it. He's done it before. So she got upset. And it was funny that Andy did that. Good. You're boring, Dorit. Okay. Your story is boring us, and I'm over it. So Kyle, while they're talking about the burglary with Dorit, right? Kyle interrupts and talks about how her burglars reached out and said that he had her things and he wanted, I guess, money for her to get her stuff back. And she said she had sent him some money, but I guess he got scared thinking she was just doing it to reel him into the cops. So I guess he cut off communication with the person he was in contact with, which I think she said was her sister-in-law or someone like that. So, of course, Kyle has to always chime in and talk about her situations when we're talking about something else. So now let's get into Crystal. Now, this was hard. Crystal really, I don't even know what to say. She did a lot of fumbling, a lot of backpedaling. She did a lot. Crystal did a lot. She did a lot of backpedaling. And what I did notice, the outcome with this with Crystal is she can't get down with these women. She's very sensitive, and Kyle was really buckling down on Crystal. She really was, and Crystal was folding. She was folding because, I mean, as much as Kyle pisses me off, Kyle was kind of making a couple of valid points when it came to Crystal contradicting herself. She just did. I mean, Crystal, this whole dark statement that Sutton made, and you never said what it was, and now all of a sudden it wasn't a statement. Instead, it was how you felt. I mean, you made us think that Sutton said something racist, and even though they showed the clip of Sutton talking to Crystal about her daughter being in a pool with like a black girl, and just a mixed race of friends is what Sutton was saying. And for Crystal to take offense to that, you're too sensitive, honey. I mean, Crystal, I like you, but I can't see you doing a whole nother season with these women. You were all over the place. You just were all over the place, and they really buckled down on you. And the fact that Sutton said she forgave Crystal and like is friends with her and wants to move past that situation. And then all these women right here sitting here like, what do you mean? Like they started jumping down her throat. Like, what do you mean you're over it? How could you be over it when she sat here and accused you of saying something racist and you never said anything racist? Like, why are you not mad about that? So then Crystal's like, well, why can't we just make up? Why are you mad that we made up? And it was a whole back and forth with them when it came to that. And also, Andy pointed out what Erica said about Crystal taking laxatives, because remember, Dorit told Lisa and Sutton and the women at Lisa's party that that Crystal was vomiting every day, and Crystal got mad about that. And Dorit thought she didn't do anything wrong because the women already knew she had an eating disorder. And Crystal's like, well, I told you that in private and confidence. You shouldn't have went back and told the women. And Dorit is sitting there, eyes just bulging like, what do you mean? Like, I didn't know I did anything wrong. I mean, just acting so surprised. I'm over Dorit and the way she is. For her to not understand Crystal feeling like that, whether you thought it was okay to say it to the women or not, Dorit, you were wrong. Just understand that even if the women knew Crystal has an eating disorder, she may not want the women to know that she's vomiting every day. That's understandable. Is I don't get why Dorit acted as if what Crystal was saying was just ridiculous. And it wasn't. She made sense with that. Like, why are you telling him that I'm vomiting every day if it's something I told you personally? And then you said it. It's not even like she brought it up and Crystal was around. You said it when she wasn't there. Like, Dorit, you're messy and you try to play like you're so innocent. And I need the old Dorit to come back, the one that used to argue back and make sense with what she was saying. Like, now Dorit just is very quiet and she plays the back seat a lot. And I'm over her. I'm over her too. I'm over her and Crystal, to be honest. I'm over the both of those women. So I think now Andy gets to asking Kyle about scolding Sutton with the miscarriages when she had brought up her eating disorder when Crystal was talking about hers. Because we know Kyle loves to chime in and talk about herself when somebody else is talking about their self. You know, she has to chime in and give her side and what she went through. But yet she went so crazy on Sutton. And then Kyle blames that on being drunk. The attack on Sutton, and when Sutton said she had her miscarriages, Kyle sat and said she was drunk and she knows she was wrong. But I mean, blaming it on alcohol, no, that's not it. These women have their answers and excuses ready, especially when it's time for the reunion. They always have an excuse ready to compensate for the crap that they've pulled all season long. So now let's get to the next scene, which was Crystal or you know what? I covered that part already with the racist comments. I just talked about that. So I did say Crystal can't handle the pressure, and I still believe that. Michael Jackson. This is what I wanted to say. Andy brought up the Michael Jackson comment to Crystal about her saying that he's problematic. And Crystal said he's problematic because of the accusations. And Erica had to chime in and say, well, he's cleared from that. Like, he wasn't found guilty or, you know, whatever. And Crystal's like, well, that's what I meant by, you know, him being problematic. And it's like, Crystal, girl, if you're just not a fan of Michael Jackson. You know, like, she just had to make something out of that, but that's her defense, is that's what she meant by calling him problematic, was the allegations and whatever. I'm happy Andy asked her that, though, because I definitely wanted to know what else she had to say about calling him that. So now Andy brings up Crystal's 14 friends, the ones that stopped talking to her. This is another. Kyle came down on Crystal again. She called her out because Crystal, I guess, made it seem like her friends were mad at her for being on the show. But Kyle said that it was a couple of Crystal's friends, I guess, that were trying out for the show. And I guess Crystal's the one that made it onto the show. So Crystal said that they got mad before she filmed the show and made it sound like they were jealous of her once she filmed. But Crystal then backtracked and said, no, they were mad at me before I filmed. Because remember, she asked Rinna about this, about like, oh, you know, can you give me some advice on, you know, I guess how to deal with friends that hate on you when you get put on the show? You see what I'm saying? Like, so I think Crystal once again was caught in a lie because Crystal just fumbled and you can just tell, I can feel the fidgety that she, you know, she was very fidgety and I could tell Kyle makes her crumble. You get what I'm saying? Like, Kyle definitely makes Crystal crumble, and Crystal was just called out on that whole situation. So I don't know if next season what's going to happen. Whoever these friends are that were interviewed for the show, you know how Bravo likes to be messy, and you know how they like to bring on people that you know. So if Crystal stays on next season as a full-time housewife, I wouldn't be surprised if one of these friends end up on the show. That's just how Bravo rolls, you know? So Crystal magnifying it and bringing it to everyone's attention about these friends. Now they're going to be messy and bring one of these friends on, especially if you're still on the show. So watch out for that. That may be a storyline for Crystal next season, actually. She may need that. She may need one of these friends to come on the show, and that'll be her, what she deals with. Because I don't want to hear about the eating disorder. And it's Crystal really has nothing else to talk about. I know she doesn't want to get into her husband. So maybe that'll be best for her to bring on one of those friends. So now let's get into the scene with Diana and Garcelle. Oh my God. Diana is insane. Okay. Diana is insane. So she zooms in. Andy asks her about the cease and desist letters that her lawyers were sending to blogs about, the Madam rumors and the book and the ties to Epstein. And Diana said that she never met him, even though there's a picture floating around with him in it. She said that's a fake photo, and that the year that that photo was taken, that she was actually a refugee at the time and wasn't on papers. So that's a lie. Like, that photo's a lie, is what Diana said. And Andy brings up her licking her lips. And she said how it's a nervous tick, and she knows how it looks disgusting. I'm glad you know. Because I can't stand it. And a lot of other people can't either. So, the comment creator, the Black content creator comment that Diana left when she was going back and forth with that blogger. So her defense for that is that she claimed that comment, it was related to the dark web, meaning it's related to trolls and people just leaving you bad comments, just negative comments and stuff, is what she thought she was saying by calling someone a Black content creator, right? And it's like, you know what, Diana, for you to have all this money, all this wealth, and this and that, you're so easy to say someone else is clumsy with their words. And that's all you have been all season long. It's clumsy with your words. I'm not buying it, but that's her excuse because, like I said, these women come prepared to answer these questions because they know Andy is going to ask them this stuff. So she sat and had her answer ready and prepared. And then Crystal kind of backed her up because Crystal said when she called her that Diana made no sense with what she was saying regarding talking about a Black content creator. So she felt that Diana didn't know what she was actually saying. So Andy gets into Diana donating money to the victims' families. And Erica, first of all, said that she wasn't mad about it. And Diana's like, well, you women know that this bad thing happened, and it's like, put your money where your mouth is. And see, honey, no, they don't have to put their money where their mouth is because they didn't commit a crime. This is Erica's problem. That's Erica's problem. So just because these women voice their concern or how they feel about it, they have to do that, and then they have to write a check as well, right? That's what they have to do. Like, Diana just gets on my nerves all the time. I cannot wait until this reunion's over. I don't want to ever see her face on Housewives of Beverly Hills. She definitely has to go. Like, seriously, she got to go. So now Andy brings up the people saying that Diana was responsible for the bots, and Garcelle agreed. Garcelle was like, I thought the same thing. Garcelle thought the same exact thing, and she had every right to think the same thing, So Andy asked her, Diana said that Garcelle must think low of her to bully a 14-year-old. And Garcelle was like, yeah, I do think that. So all the women are looking like, oh, shocked, like, oh my God. No, it's true. She feels that way. Garcelle talks about threatening texts that Diana sent to her because she wanted Garcelle to take her name out of the post that Jax had reposted. And in that post, of course, it said that Diana was responsible. So Diana felt that Garcelle should have took the post down, wiped out, erased Diana from it, and then reposted it, right? And Kyle had the nerve to agree, chimed in, took up for Diana, and Garcelle's like, you know what? Y'all make no sense. Like, my son is not thinking about taking your name out of a post before he posts it. And my obligation is not to take up for you women, it's to take up for my son. So Garcelle made it very clear, no, I'm not doing that. And then Diana's sitting here talking about pencil something out. Pencil, like, woman, this is not handwriting on a piece of paper that somebody posted. This is a statement, a comment on his page. Who's going to use a pencil? You can't use a pencil to take that off. Like, what are you talking about? I mean, that irritated me so much, her talking about use a pencil. Oh my God. So Diana now makes it about her. And before that, let's get into, this is the message that Diana sent Garcelle. So look at how she threatens Garcelle. And she says, believe me when I say, if anything happens to my children, you will be held legally responsible and no Bravo contract will stop me. I guess by making Cherie take down my birthday post, you wanted to solidify me as racist and actually ruin my life. So now she's turning this, making it about her. Talking about that her family received death threats because her name was in that post that Jax reposted. And that her threatening Garcelle legally is not the same as death threats being sent to her family now. So now we've just totally left what happened with Jax, and it's now all about Diana and her family receiving death threats, right? That's what it's about now. Now you get on Garcelle and send her this threatening text message about legally, I guess, suing her or whatever you were going to do legally, and you're trying to say, first of all, Garcelle's saying a threat is a threat, and Diana is arguing that and saying, no, it's not. A violent threat versus a legal threat is not the same threat. Diana, where are your threats? How come you didn't get snapshots of these threats so that you can show us what people were saying to you? Why hide that? Wouldn't you want to voice that loud to let the world see what people are threatening your child or your family or whatever they were threatening? This is why I don't believe it. She wants to make it about her. And then wants to question why Garcelle thinks that she's responsible. This is why Garcelle thinks you're responsible. Because all you care about is yourself. The craziest thing to me, though, is when Garcelle is upset, talking about what her son went through and when she went through, all these women do is look. But as soon as Dorit sheds a tear, they're all there consoling her. I'm just over it. Like, these women are they are wrong. They're wrong. Diana, you didn't even have the balls to bring your behind to that stage. But yet you want to sit behind that screen and say what you said. So what Andy did was he asked Garcelle, if Diana was here, what would you say to her? And Garcelle said that I would ask her, why is she so obsessed with me? She's obsessed with me. And then Diana tried to be funny and say, oh, it's because you're gorgeous to Garcelle. Like, this is why I'm obsessed with you, because you're gorgeous. And Garcelle just looked just like this when she said that. Like, this is not a game. I'm not laughing. You're not funny. That's like at all. And we will never be friends. And speaking of that, I want to go back quickly to this message when she said, let me go back to this. When she mentioned that Garcelle made Sheree take down the birthday post, Sheree put up a picture of her and Diana, I guess for Diana's birthday. And the fact that Sheree, I guess, Garcelle must have told Sheree to take it down, and Sheree did. But how did Diana know this? Did Sheree run and tell Diana that Garcelle said that? You know what, Sheree, I'm going to need you to stay all the way over there. I don't want to see your face either next season. I'm done with you. I'm done with you. You know damn well Diana is not your friend. You just want to fit in so bad. It's an epic fail. Your whole appearance on Beverly Hills is a fail, Sheree. I do not want to see you again. You're a horrible friend. You're horrible. So Garcelle said she wants Diana to stop harassing her on social media. And she's like, I don't bother anybody on social media. Leave me alone. Like, leave me alone, Diana. Stop bothering me on social media. So I know they're not done with Diana. She'll probably be in next week's episode too. But also, I know Kathy should be coming in by the end of middle to end of the next episode. But that is the part 1 of the reunion. And like I said, it was very entertaining. It was good. And I can't wait to see the rest of it. A lot was talked about. And like I said, we'll see what happens next week. It's more to come. And of course, I'll do a video about that too. But guys, let me know what you think about part 1 of the reunion. Leave a comment, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to all you again soon.